YouTuber turned boxer Jake Paul defeated former UFC champion Tyrone Woodley with a stunning knockout that left fans gasping. The victory gave him a boost to his boxing career, but also increased the net worth of his fortune. In this video, we will explore how much Jake Paul earned from boxing. Let's begin. The 24-year-old has already reaped a fortune with an estimated net worth ranging from $17 million to $30 million. Paul already boasted a mammoth net worth before his rematch with Woodley. This was Jake Paul's first boxing match, which took place in Manchester, England in 2018. He was on the undercard of the event that was headlined by Cy and Logan Paul. However, the exact amount of fight purse of Jake Paul and Deji was not revealed even after the event. It is unknown how much exactly Paul made for his white-collar boxing fight with Deji Olatunji, but we have done some basic math to come to this figure. Logan Paul and Cy headlined the event at the Manchester Arena and had a contractual agreement to split the purse 50-50, with their younger brothers Jake and Deji taking cuts from their siblings' payouts. Reportedly, Logan split his payout down the line with Jake, with the pay-per-view revenue and ticket sales amounting to £11.8 million between the £9.1 million from pay-per-view, of which YouTube took 30%, and £2.7 million at the gate. This doesn't factor in sponsorships that Paul had, or merchandise sales from his fight gear. After convincingly beating Deji, Jake Paul had to prove to everyone that he is not an amateur boxer, as he went head-to-head against Anderson Gibb in a professional boxing bout. Further, this was Jake's first pro fight against a British YouTuber with decent skills. It may seem like Paul took a pay cut for his professional debut, but bear in mind that he likely received all sorts of hidden bonuses on top of his $1 million guarantee. He boasted during an appearance on Impulsive of having a knockout bonus that would take him into the 7 figures, which he cashed in on within the first round. Gibb was the fight's B-side by a considerable margin and was nicknamed the 7-figure Gibber, so we'd imagine Paul's payout was much higher than this guarantee. According to the salary list disclosed by Georgia Athletic and Entertainment Commission, Jake Paul's guaranteed fight purse for the Thriller Fight Club match against Ben Askren was $690,000. On top of the disclosed paycheck, Jake Paul will also be receiving a percentage of the pay-per-view sales and possibly some other bonuses. Jake Paul revealed in an Instagram post earlier that the event sold 1.5 million pay-per-view buys and generated a revenue of $75 million. Any percentage of that sum would be a considerable addition to the fixed amount Jake Paul is already set to receive. It would not be surprising if the figure is well north of $1 million. Next up in line for Jake Paul was former New York Knicks basketball player Nate Robinson. The two celebrities fought against each other in November 2020. In this boxing bout, Jake thrashed Nate, and the former basketball player had no choice as he was knocked down several times before Jake Paul finally knocked him out in the second round. The internet celebrity brings legions of fans with him, contributing to huge pay-per-view sales and even viral trends after the fact. Rather than a guaranteed figure for his latest scrap, his earnings were dependent on the performance of pay-per-view as a whole. As one of the biggest pay-per-view events of the year, reaching over 1 million buys in the United States alone, according to analyst Dan Raphael, Paul cashed in big time thanks to his unique contract for the fight. The disclosed purses for both Paul and Robinson were a little off base, as ESPN's Mark Raimondi exposed in a December 3rd interview with Paul. Initial figures were slim, but Paul assured he was paid a lot, even laughing when the topic was brought up. No exact figure was revealed, though he did provide some staggering insight. 8 figures is what Paul walked away with at an absolute minimum just for the performance alone. My deal was built into the back-end structure of how well the event performed, he explained. The event performed incredibly well. Walking away with $10 million at a minimum sure sounds like a lot. This number doesn't factor in potential sponsorship deals or additional pay-per-view buys that come in after the initial batch. There are also international sales to consider as well. Fans had been eagerly waiting for Jake and Tyrone to go against each other once again. The fight became possible after Tyrone Woodley decided to back out of the event due to health conditions. While Jake won the first time he fought with Tyrone, fans thought the second event might see some different results. However, they were wrong. As per MMA Junkie, Jake was paid $2 million for the fight. Ever since the fight with Tyrone was announced, the YouTuber seemed confident about his win. In fact, he did not shy away from declaring that on social media. Meanwhile, Tyrone too had confidence in himself, as he seemed certain that he would be able to knock out Jake this time around. Just like Jake, Tyrone also received $2 million for the fight. However, an additional clause was added to his contract that stated he would receive a $500,000 bonus if he knocked out Jake. Fans were excited to see Tyrone and Jake fight again. However, the event did not last long, as the UFC player was knocked down. In the first round, Woodley got the point even though there was not a lot of activity. As the second round approached, Jake and Tyrone put up a good fight, but the YouTuber was declared the winner for that round. Following this, Tyrone decided to improve his game and managed to win the third round. However, the fourth and fifth rounds saw Jake actively trying to end the fight with a knockout. He finally achieved that in round 6. As of now, Jake has won 5 fights and lost none. From the beginning, the YouTuber has been vocal about making boxing his career. Speaking to TMZ, he said, "I just want to continue to be the most disruptive boxer in the history of the sport. And I think it's taking it on a fight-by-fight basis and continuing to build these fights and make them even bigger and take on more serious opponents." He continued, "Look, if you asked me if I was going to be where I am at 3 years ago, I wouldn't believe you. So I don't even want to think about or cap myself with possibilities. I'm open-minded and I think anything's possible." That's it for today, folks. What do you think about the earnings of Jake Paul from his boxing matches? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.